The Crew 2 launched in 2018, a new racing game with an open world based on the United States of America. The game has a big variety in its landscapes, vehicles, and of course, races. One of the races were more special than the others. It was the New York race, a 30-minute hypercar race that starts in New York and ends all the way over in San Francisco. The Crew 2 has leaderboards, which for some people like don't matter at all. But for competitive people, it matters a lot. One of them being GoPro IMAX. IMAX was a top tier player across most disciplines in the game, but his specialty was New York. At the end of 2018, he managed to do a run under 25 minutes, which was slightly more than 2 minutes faster than the second place. When this run was uploaded, I'm not even surprised if people thought it was cheated. Because if I saw someone gap the leaderboard that hard, I would probably think so too. But how come it's so much faster? Yeah, you might have guessed it correctly. Shortcuts. The shortcuts are a big thing in this game, pretty much because they're everywhere. And even 5 years later, there's still new cuts being found every once in a while. All of those cuts were big factors to why the run was so fast. All those lines and not a single crash throughout it all. It was just insane to see that someone managed to do it in a single run. But there was one cut that was more famous than any other cut in the whole race of New York. And it was the biggest one as well. That cut is called the 82% shortcut. It starts off by turning to the right after hitting the checkpoint, just moments earlier, and then going to the side of the mountain. Once you've gotten past the hairpin on the minimap, you drive down the hill and through the trees. Once you made your way down past the trees, you would see a cliff. You could either go straight and jump off the cliff down onto the road, or you could go down to the right and use the back on track feature. That would respawn you onto the same road at the bottom of the hill, but just in front of the next checkpoint. From here on, you just continue to the end of the race, which was on the middle of the Golden Gate Bridge. As you can see, the shortcuts shown reduce a big amount of time, and within a year, the times dropped even further. In April 2019, summits were introduced, a weekly competition with 9 events to compete against other players for new rewards. On the 9th of October, almost 5 months after the release of Summits, New York was featured as an event for the first time, and this time without traffic for everyone. What do I mean by no traffic for everyone? Well, you see, this game had a glitch that would make the traffic disappear from you, and you would be able to drive the whole race without having to worry about crashing into them. Anyways, back to the story. During the year, new shortcuts were discovered and used to cut off more time. This was shown by IMAX's run during the Coast to Coast Summit, even though the run itself wasn't uploaded until July the following year. A whole minute seems like a lot, which it really is in one of these races, but most cuts you see are mainly about cutting over a field or watching out for trees. The cuts that include jumps were mainly the ones that you saw earlier on in the video. When the summit ended, IMAX's run had been improved further by more than a minute. But was he satisfied with it? After not achieving his goal of 23:30, he continued to play the event during the following months into 2020. At some point, he beat his personal best all the way down to a 23:06 with a new car, the Bugatti Divo Magma Edition. The Magma is a special car from the summits that you can win by getting platinum in the So French summit, just over a month before the Coast to Coast summit. The run was unknown unless you looked at the leaderboards yourself or saw it from someone, because IMAX uploaded the run in the middle of August, but the run was actually done way before that. On March 1st, 2020, a player named The Route 69, now known as Root or Doggerbot, uploaded a run of a 23:53 in a Porsche Carrera GT Green Flash Edition. In their video, you could spot IMAX's 23:06 at the top of the leaderboard. On March 25th, 3 weeks later, a new update came out that would change it all. The Inner Drive update improved the handling of street race and hypercars. It reduced the speed you could carry off-road by a big amount, then also buffed the air nose to the point where it turned into a spaceship if you took air. But probably the most interesting thing? They reset the leaderboards. The following days after the reset, Kivo set a good record at 23:39 with Bugatti Divo Magma Edition, and that time it was gonna be there for a while. Between the record times being set, New York had appeared in Summit for the second time ever. This time, it was in the Forever Ferrari Summit between May 13th and May 20th, 2020, but it was also restricted to the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Nothing special really happened until January of 2021 when Doggerbot drove a 23:41, which was 2 seconds off of Kivo's time. Kivo saw this and decided to improve his record, and he did so over the following weeks by slowly beating it down all the way to a 23:16, just 10 seconds off of what IMAX had done before the Inner Drive update. That time was then held all the way until the start of September 2021, which is almost 530 days straight since his first record back in March 2020. On the 3rd of September, Doggerbot uploaded a new time on New York. 23:05, a new world record, beating all runs in the past. People were amazed everywhere at how fast this run was. It was so close to breaking the 23-minute barrier, but that's way easier said than done. On the 18th of March 2022, 2 days after Season 5 was released, the crew game posted a tweet about an additional update coming to the game, and it was about New York. They were going to add another checkpoint in at the 82% cut, meaning that the previous route wasn't going to work anymore, and we had to find a new path that works with the new checkpoint. But they were also going to reset the leaderboards once again. After the reset, the new times were arriving slower than before, with the race losing its popularity. Kivo and Doggerbot kept on competing for the best times, and at one point they were neck on neck with each other. While they were so focused on competing with each other, new names started showing up on the leaderboard, one after the other. But just a few months later, something very unexpected happened. New York had returned to the summits for a third time, and this time as a crossover. Getting to drive a street race car across the whole race was interesting, because we didn't know how fast or how slow it was going to be. But that didn't stop the new coming player Fwink. He got a time onto the leaderboard, which was unbelievably fast considering how slow the car was compared to a hypercar. Back to the main event. On the 27th of July 2022, a new car was added with the Elite bundle in the game, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus. This car was a game breaker. The car was so fast, it would just be a matter of time before records were broken, one after the other. And that did happen. On the same evening, Doggerbot was already on the hunt for the New York world record, and he beat it within a few tries with a 23:10. Putting a time that low in that short amount of time shows how good the car was, and he kept trying to improve for another hour. But then, Doggerbot got this run. 22:54, breaking his own world record by 16 seconds and proving that the impossible was indeed possible. If it hadn't been for the countless runs, the motivation from the community, the legendary 22 might have never been real. What was once a myth became a reality, and to be the first to ever make it was an insane accomplishment, maybe the biggest one in the Crew 2's history. But then we got other news. While showing the community the run that had just happened, IMAX himself decided to comment about it, saying that a time below 23 minutes had already been done in the past and just never showed up onto the leaderboards. Nobody was sure if it was real or not, since the only proof he had was by saying that he had done it in the past. There was no real proof, such as a clip or a screenshot going onto the bridge with more than 6 seconds left until the time hit 23 minutes. During the following months, nothing happened other than players below improving their own times. But there were two players who were improving their times closer to the record than anyone else. On the 16th of April 2023, player Fwink broke the world record by just half a second. Seeing earlier improvements to the record by at least 5 to 30 seconds made us think we were closer to the limit than we thought before. But we were kinda wrong about that. On July 5th, 2023, a new car released, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus Divine Edition. As it sounds, it was a special edition of the previous Metacar, and as usual with this game, the special edition is almost always faster. After its release, it only took him a couple of weeks before improving it again to the record that still stands today, at 22:30. Fwing's run has not been uploaded in any way other than being seen from the in-game leaderboard. I did a hunt the track myself about 2 weeks after his time and managed to set a 22:40, which is currently 10 seconds off the world record, but it is the fastest run uploaded online. Since then, multiple people have gone below 23 minutes across all three platforms, but nobody has gotten into the 22:30s like Fwink. On the 20th of December 2023, a new meta contender for the track was released, the Gordon Murray Automotive T50. This car did not break any records on neither PC or PlayStation, but it did manage to go below 23 minutes on Xbox, which was the final platform to get a 22-minute time. A special note has to go to Rhino the Raccoon, who arguably spent the most amount of time hunting this track. According to Rhino himself, he's put down a total of 3,000 hours on the New York race alone while streaming and just playing it for fun. Considering how long the game has been out, it's fun to see how much faster the track became within the first years, and that we have slowly pushed it even further recently, even though a cut was patched and made it 30 seconds slower. The amount of people that have played this race has also helped it gain fame. Doesn't matter if you just played it for fun or made content on it. You put your name onto the leaderboards at one point and made the number go up by one. A big thank you to everyone who has been a part of it on any platform. I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget, you're also a part of the New York race history.